Let's go.
This is Rob, and I'm on the 3 Count Podcast.
Welcome, everyone, to another great edition of the 3 Count Podcast presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And with this being season 5, season 6, our 400-something episode, I would just hope you say it with me. I am your shepherd, because like our tribal chief, acknowledge me. But like every good Sherpa, you gotta have someone been there, done that, can do it more efficiently. You can. That's why it's never about me. It's about who's entering. So who's entering? He has been a worker. He has been in the ring doing the things that you can't do because you haven't really been doing it in a long time. He is also the man behind the cameras, the production of NWWE. That's right, New World Wrestling Extreme. And he is a beautiful man with a great goatee. He is the man, the myth, the legend, the man known as Rob.
Well, my wrestling name was Zanuck, Homeless Harry, or Slugito when I used to wrestle.
Yeah, because we were talking about that right before we got started, like about how you've trained in a lot of different places, and that's kind of like what I'm doing now, is just kind of like jumping from place to place to place. It's kind of like picking up and learning a little bit here and there. Talk to me a little bit about your journey before we get into talking about like wrestling as far as like the production side of things goes.
Start off in the 80s, watching my favorite wrestlers, Piper, Savage, Warrior, Rick Rude, all of them. And gradually went into the 90s, like the new generation, Owen Hart, the King of Hearts. And I've always known that I wanted to become a professional wrestler. And for years I was trying to get into Kowalski School, but it was kind of too expensive. So I finally found a school down in New Bedford at the time. It was called Yankee Pro Wrestling or South Coast Championship Wrestling. Now they're known as Top Rope Promotions. And then I left there, went to NWA New England, and started training there, which is now known as Bell Time Club or VCW. I don't know if they're still VCW, but they're Bell Time Club now.
Yeah.
Had a couple of knee surgeries, left the business for a little bit, came back. The only school that I found online at the time was Chaotic Pro Wrestling, and started training there for a while. Hooked up with my old boys from NWA New England, and they were known as the Bell Time Club. Started training there for a while. I've been to PWF too, PWF New England, and I also wanted to be a cameraman too. So I knew that in order to get matches, I have to do other things. So I started taping for the other promotions, but Jay Rumble of Bell Time Club at the time, now I think it's Bo Douglas. It is Bo Douglas.
It's Bo.
Yep. I was filming for them for quite some time, and I was looking for more work, and I saw online James was doing more work. Trooper Gilmore, he needed a cameraman, so I started doing it. First, I started off with the local cable station, and the problem with local access stations, if you use their equipment, you got to put it on their station first before you can put it anywhere else. We own the rights to the video.
Right.
They got to put it up first. And then I unfortunately had a stroke. I didn't even know I was having a stroke during the time. T-boned my truck. I was in this match. I vaguely remember it. It was my final match, matter of fact. I was in a tag team. Jason Rumble was willing to bring back Zanuck. The man that was beyond psycho. He was a Zyko. I had a tag team partner back in the day, too, and his name was Max Ludacris. We went our own separate ways. I haven't talked to him in years now, but so And I went to go for a tag because I went on a tag team match. I didn't know where I was. I went to go tag in the opposite corner. And then I ran back. We're like, oh no, I'm in the wrong corner. I tagged my partner in. And now I've been just doing New World Wrestling Extreme for a while now. I think about almost 10 years, 7, 8, something like that. I can't remember that well. But yeah, I've been doing it for a long time for him. I try to venture out a little bit more, go down to Connecticut, go to Slick School. I like to call him the Slickster. Brown.
Yep.
He likes me calling him that because he likes the Slickster. He's actually a cool manager. I liked him too back in the 80s. And now I'm at New World Wrestling, just sticking with that. And it's not as easy as it was pre-stroke, but now post-stroke, one company is more than enough for me at this point. And trying to chase after the wrestlers. Give me your social media so I can put it on there because it's all about the wrestlers, not about me. It's kind of about the promotion too, but mostly the workers, trying to put them over. I started off with James just being a cameraman, and now I'm head of production. I got a crew with me now, and I'm always directing them, like where to get the angles. And I always find that when I was a cameraman, it was better as a wrestler because you know where the spots are going to be going to. So you can just be right there. If you don't know where the spot, if you're not a wrestler, you don't know where they're going to be going.
Right.
Yeah. And I always, sometimes I try to give my critiquing to some of the boys in the back, but you know, they just look at me as a cameraman. Sometimes I feel like it, but whatever. It's cool with me. I don't care.
Well, and that was okay. So that's where it leads us to our conversation here, right? Because you and I have talked in the back, and then I've run into you a couple times, and so I was like, all right. When I found out, because that was the thing too. Like I had asked a lot of questions. It's like, yo, like about match footage, right? Because obviously I wanted to get that too. But when they directed me to you, I was like, all right, well now we have the guy. So I was like, we got to bring the guy on because I think about that a lot. Like it's been recently that in the past, I would say probably about the last 13, 14 months now, like I've been really kind of more cognitive about like, hey, I want to hit this move, but if I can hit it here with the camera looking at it, it's going to look so much cooler than if it would look like just on a hard cam, right? And there's nothing wrong with like playing to hard cam, but you could be a lot more intimate when you know where the camera is and you can like talk to it, right? I'll give a perfect example. Like, and you guys will see this hopefully in post production when WWE releases their show, but at the end of my match with Stormy Savage, like I looked for the roaming cam because I was like, I'm going to talk directly to you at home. Like I want you to know that I'm telling you that that guy is not as good as he says he is. And not in that aspect, but it just kind of like I want fans to have a feeling like, oh no, I hate this guy because like he's just talking to me. He's like, he's not even worried about that guy no more. He just beat him up. Like,
Exactly. That's what you got to do.
yeah, I think about it. Like, yo, I want to drain heat. I want to build more heat.
You gotta bring the heat to you so you can
put it on the baby face.
Put on the baby face. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to get yourself out there too. This is
right.
indie, not WWE or AEW. So
yeah, so there's not a big machine pushing you. So you kind of have to be the driving force yourself. And I also like, even when I hit certain moves, like I look for hard cam, like, you know, when I hit, like I love hitting my spine buster, but I look for the hard cam every single time because when you're on when your hard cam is looking at you and you go to throw that spine buster, it's a cool view when people are all looking at, like they don't get to see exactly what you're looking at. But what I've also found was that like certain spots that I want to hit, like I look for it, I think about where I'm going to be at, and then I see like the hard cam, so I'll play to like the hard cam, but then I know like the roaming cams are around, so I try to find like a way to get to that roaming cam and just like sell to it. So I'm always cognitive about like I know the cameras will find me, so I try to put myself in positions to make it easier for them to find. But I think about putting those matches together because I know I want to put my match online. I'm gonna put my match online. Not obviously you and I have a talk about this one, but obviously when I see the final product, I want to put it online because I want other people to see what I'm putting up too.
Yeah, exactly. And speaking of your spine buster, I was actually working on your match. I got the Roman camera on Savage's face, and then as soon as you hit it, I switch it to the hard camera. So that was pretty cool. You just spoke about it, and I was just working on it.
I think about it all the time. I think about those actively. Like I look for it when because the fun part too is in that match. If you look at the hard cam, I'm not looking at the hard cam. I know it's there, but I'm not looking at hard cam. I'm actually looking at the kid down below because the kid down below was telling me he's like, get to the gym, get to the gym. You
Hmm.
gotta be in the gym. And so when I picked up Stormy and I had him on my shoulder, I looked at the kid and I was like, go to the gym. And I slammed
Yeah.
Stormy. And I never took my eyes off him because even when I'm pinning the kid, I'm just staring at him the whole time. And I remember that kid was just, he was terrified. Like he was so terrified after it happened. But yeah, it goes back
Yeah.
to, I guess when I come to you, I just want to ask like, how is it so I guess I don't understand like why more people wouldn't want to come to the camera team to ask them about positioning for cameras.
I think they're more focused on their match, and they're not really worried about the camera. I it used to bother me that the boys, when they cut a promo in the ring, they're not facing the hard camera. They're facing off to the corner where not even the Roman camera is. You want to face the camera, whether it's the Roman camera or the hard camera. You gotta face it. You're selling yourself. Your face is your selling point. Your words and everything. You gotta. So I don't understand why that part, but people are getting a little bit better. I noticed, but still, you could that's just a selling point, and I think that they're just so focused in the match they're not even caring about where the camera is. I
Yeah.
tell, like I've told some people in the past that I know you're having this match, and make sure if you do the spot, the camera's right here. Focus, try to be on this side, but sometimes they don't even worry about that.
Yeah, and I think it goes back to just like knowing like where the production's gonna be and then like at least trying to put yourself in that position that hey, we're gonna be here to capture this because I see it too with photography. There's a couple of my friends down in like the DMV. They are notorious for getting great images, but like they've been around the business a little bit that they kind of know like oh I've seen this person wrestle like a few times. I'm gonna be at this side, take a shot from this angle, and the camera angles look phenomenal, but they don't ever talk about it. I'm like I would love to be able to sit back and like I'll call my match and I'll have a conversation and then I want to go talk to the production team about like, hey, listen, like we're gonna hit this spot. I just need you guys to find where you think the best angle is gonna be and how you guys want us to orientate so that way we can get it going. And that way it still looks natural like to the audience, but like the way the camera catches it is just you can put the chef's kiss on it when it goes online.
Yeah, and I agree with you. That's good. They should come to us and see where they're going to be. What's the spot's about. We'll, we'll figure it out. It's tough when the referees gets in the way. You have this perfect shot and they walk in front of the camera, but
Yep.
you work your way around it. Luckily, I got Steve Albert. He's got a ton of uh, GoPros around the ring, so if he doesn't catch it or the hard camera catches it, at least some of the GoPros, the other stationary GoPros catches it. Because you want to get the anger and pain and suffering in the boys' faces and the women.
Yeah. I like to look for the GoPros. If I see them on the post, I will go and just have a conversation with the GoPro. Like I think I feel like it's just like an underutilized thing. Like I've seen like other promotions where they'll have like a GoPro on top of a camera on like a post, and
Mhm.
like a person will come out, and I will just be talking to the GoPro. I will not acknowledge the person coming to the ring. I'm
Yeah,
just gonna have a conversation with the GoPro. I'll just sit here like, hey, yeah, you see that guy coming out right now? You hear that music, right? Like it's really not that cool. Like he's
that's
not
the
really
way you
that.
should be doing it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I think so. Like, yo, get people hyped, like, or people upset that you're, fuck that guy. He's not coming here to talk to me about nothing.
No,
I don't really care.
exactly. And you're selling yourself too, and you're trying to impress the world, not just the people that's in there. You want to impress everybody, not just the fans that's in the arena.
Yeah, well, because one thing that got told to me was that it was at an event I had worked at. that I didn't play enough to the camera, that had played a lot to the crowd. And they're like, well, that's good and everything, but just understand, like, these people have already paid their money. They're here to see you.
Mhm.
You acknowledge them, play to them, but they're like, this right here in front of you, like, that's to the rest of the world, the people who don't know who you are, that if you acknowledge that they're watching you, like, you can either build like a lot more love, or you can build a lot more heat. And it's really just how you want to do it. And I was like, that's crazy. So when I started structuring my matches, I started thinking about, like, all right, where's the hard cam at? How can I get there? What am I going to look for this? And do it. And I know these are things that they teach you in wrestling school, but
Yeah.
you learn these things, but then you get so locked in on your match, you're trying to figure it out, and you're focused on the matchup and things like that. So and most of the times I don't even think about, like, the camera work until I get out there. So once I see where hard cam is, I'm like, all right, this is how I'm going to position myself for this, or this, I'm going to turn this around, and I'm going to try to work on this over here, and just go from there, and just try to figure how. And literally, like, in that match too, especially with Stormy, like, I was just kind of like trying to guide Stormy, like, in other places, to be like, all right, this is where I need you to sit, talk your trash right here, say something here to somebody, and I'm gonna move. And it worked out, I thought, for the most part in the match. I thought it was kind of fun. But it goes back to, like, when I get to the shows early, I try to figure out where everything's gonna be at, so I can kind of like think about where the match is gonna be visually.
Yeah. Next show, I'll be there early so I can set up the hard camera and everything. You'll be able to see everything. These last couple of shows, I wasn't able to get there early, but now I will be able to get there early. And we can
Yeah.
talk before the show, and I can tell you where everybody is. All the cameras are.
And then you guys can see that show if you come live. We're gonna be in Massachusetts.
Bridgewater, Massachusetts.
Yeah, we're there April in
April
Bridgewater.
19th.
April 19th. There you go. See, April 19th, we're in Bridgewater. We're going to be having a show there. So you guys could be there too and enjoy the show that we're running.
Yeah.
And WWE, you guys saw, we had James. Well, true. We had James on as well because he came in
Yep.
here as James. So you guys saw the episode previously with James Allen, and now you guys get to see the production team. So you guys now know the
Right.
19th, April, Bridgewater,
19th.
Massachusetts.
Exactly.
So, but what, I guess, what do you wish that more people would ask you, like, regarding the show and things like that?
Uh, Not so much ask me, but let me know where your spots are going to be. Like, everybody likes to hit their favorite spots. Make sure we know where you're going to do it, where you're planning to do it. That's pretty much all. But if they ask me any questions, I can answer whatever other questions. I'm not sure which ones I would ask. Just let me know where you're going to do your big spots,
Yeah.
and hopefully they do it when it makes sense, not just to do it just because you think it's cool. Like you
Yeah.
said earlier.
I see a lot of people hitting big rope moves and low ceilings. I'm like, I don't know why we're on the top rope.
When they have slope sailings, that's crazy. Yep.
I think it's crazy. Or like, you're over 6 foot tall, and the other guy you're wrestling is 6 foot tall, and you want to hit a vertical suplex, and the ceiling's only 9 feet. Like, I'm just like, all right, well, I guess we're going here.
Exactly. It just doesn't make sense. You're right. We're not in the Boston Garden or anything.
Yeah, and I mean, I get it. You want to look big. You want to look There's ways to do that too. I
Yeah.
think about it all the time. Like, there's ways to hit those moves. I like to wrestle inside the ropes and, like, not really take anything to the outside unless, like, it's like an absolute necessity. But
Mhm.
I don't have to do a dive or jump off the top rope, brother. I'm not doing it.
I never jumped off the top rope when I worked. Never.
I'll hit
Second
a
rope.
moonsault, but, like, off the second rope. But I'm just like,
Nope.
no
Hey.
need to.
Yep.
Because I feel like that's the one thing too I hear a lot about, is that you want to make the ring look small but make yourself look big inside the ring.
Yep.
And so, like, I've been taught, like, how to make that happen. And when I think about, like, yo, but why would you not want to, why would you, I don't know, expose yourself to that idea of, like, hey, let me jump off the top rope, and you're like, it's not necessary. You can, anything that you can do in the ring, on the ground, well, one, you don't have to worry about being high risk, and then
No.
two, like, people will still pop for whatever it is that you're
Yeah,
trying to do.
they will pop for little things. I
Yeah.
mean, I remember when I was at Yankee at the PA Hall. It reminded me of the I can't remember the place in New York for Monday Night Raw that they used to go to with the balconies.
Oh yeah.
In the PA Hall, I would see people jump off the balcony there in the middle of the ring. I'm like, you guys are crazy. You don't need to. And that take, and I feel like jumping off the balconies might be a cool spot, but at the same time, what makes you think that the guy's going to stay in the middle of the ring for you so he can hit you with this high spot like that? But that's what people used to do. And speaking of the hard camera stuff, if you don't mind me saying, I learned kind of the hard way. I was playing my character Zanuck, and one of the things I would do is bite the rope.
Mm.
And I watched my match after, and before the match started, I noticed that the hard camera was behind me, and I was biting the opposite rope. And the commentators did not know what to make of it when they said because I didn't show myself biting the rope.
Right.
So yeah, you always want to play to the cameras. It's always something you're selling yourself. The ring has to look small, but you want to make yourself look bigger. And
Yeah, that's something I was thinking about too, because I heard it on the video, and I can't wait to see how it looks when I was walking around the ring. And there was a little girl in the crowd, and she was like, "You're not my dad," and I was like, "And thank God, because if I was, I'd ground myself." And I can't wait to see how that looks, because I was like, "Yo, that's funny."
yep,
Oh man, but yeah, no, I think it's crazy because like you said, back to playing to the camera and playing to the crowd. I think like you know the mindset has to be that like they're here for you too, but you gotta also remember that there's cameras watching you, and that the more you play to that camera, again, it's like how we've kind of said it a couple times now. The more the more you can draw other people into it that are
yep.
watching it for the first time, and you can make a whole bunch of new fans. Like I can't when the match comes out, I can't wait to release like the part where I'm just talking to the camera after I get my win, because I thought that was such a funny thing to do, and I've been doing it as a face, but I was like, oh, maybe this would be funny as a heel too, and then I just started doing it, and I was like, yeah, actually that just looked more natural.
I find that heels are so much more fun to play than a baby. Being a baby.
Yeah, I tell people all the time I love playing a baby face. I always thought that my baby face was like the best part about me, and my heel work was kind of like bland. And then after that match at NWE, both well, actually, there's three people who came to me. The people from OWR, right? Shout outs to Lou Jacobs and Cindy, uh, Brian Bayside, and then Brick House all came to me and were like, "Yeah, you gotta be a heel now."
Yeah,
Okay, I guess here we go.
you were pretty good as a heel. I liked it. I popped on the inside. I don't really when I go to indie shows. I don't mark out at all.
Not pretty.
If you see me, I'm just sitting there watching the match, and that's it. Critiquing in my head, and if I think something needs to be critiqued, maybe I'll go up to somebody and say, "Hey, you got to do this." Like I remember I went to this another show. This girl was working this big guy, and it just seemed like really weak shots. And I told her, "You got to hit him. And he's a big dude. He's not gonna feel it. He'll feel it, but
Yeah,
you got to let the crowd in the back hear you, the smack, a punch in the face or whatever you're doing. So I always try to help the greenies out a lot. I do what I can. I would go to the Bell Time Club and, post stroke, Bo Douglas will have me take the greenies and teach them chain wrestling because he knows I'm not supposed to be in the ring. If I take one bad bump, see
yeah,
you later because I'm on blood thinners and one bad hit to the head, I'll be dead.
right.
So all I do is chain wrestle when I go to Bo's school. I haven't been there for a little while. I
Well, I
got
think another thing that you have like a lot of value to is also like understanding and working camera angles, like especially being the top, had production, like you would be the person that'd be like, yo, talking to people who are like a little green, be like, yo, I want you to just to start looking and noticing where cameras are constantly, or just make them up. Make them up in your head when you're working a practice match. That there's a camera here and there's a camera here, and then the camera's hard cams in the front. So that way, when you're telling these stories, you can kind of play to the cameras. Because that was something I was very fortunate. One of my trainers, well, I should say my main trainer. Sorry, Nick. He that was something that he did with us. Like as
Yep.
far as training, like he always like had the audience on one side as we're doing practice matches, but he was like, "Yo, hard cams here,
Yep.
focus over here,"
Yep.
and I was like, "Okay, cool." And then it just gave me a reason to like look for a hard cam and talk to it directly. So just became natural to me when I started popping into shows and like seeing what hard cam was.
Yep. That's a good advice right there. I have to agree with him. He's probably a better worker than I ever was, but he's right though. I've been there, done that too. I mean, people's been in the business longer than me and knows the business more than I do. Like James Allen, Trooper. He's been in. I met him when I first moved over to NWA New England, and he was there too. He was part of the NWA Tag Team Champions, the criminally insane they called him,
Yeah,
and him an outpatient.
I I heard his thing on Facebook the other day where he was like, maybe you'll see Troop in the ring one last time, and I was like, bet.
I always give him a hard time. So is Chainsaw coming out? Nah, I'm not gonna do that. Well, maybe he will. Who knows?
Maybe.
I wrestled him before as Homeless Harry, and he killed me. It's okay. It's all good. We're all friends in the end. You know how it is.
Yeah.
So
No, I dig it, and it's like it's one of those things though. Going back to what we're talking about, like I think when you come back to camera angles and looking for things and understanding, yeah, you gotta get with the production team. And I think the other part that a lot of people like don't pay attention to and probably should is you have to be vocal. You have to be more vocal than what you normally are, because if you're able to sit there and have a conversation like we're having right now, you should be able to have the same conversation in a ring with a ton of people randomly looking at you, because it
exactly.
should just be the same. And I feel like that was one thing I was able to do a lot, was to vocally like get that out. Was I think at one point like Stormy was outside and the kid was talking trash, and I was like, "Hey man, watch this. He's got a hurt shoulder. I'm gonna give him a high five to the shoulder." And then like you heard me chop Stormy's shoulder, and I was like, "Yeah."
Yep. I think you
I
hurt his shoulder with the ring post.
Yeah. Yeah, and I feel like I could have telegraphed that too a little bit more. Even when I'm thinking back and looking, and this is actually you guys hearing me out. I've watched the match and kind of just first critique. I could have like waited a little second, like half a second more, as I grabbed one hand and I grabbed the other, and I could have said, "Oh, hey, say hi for me," and then just like ring them into the post, and
Yep.
then
Yep.
from there just talk trash after that. But I
Yep.
was like, and those are things you don't think about till afterwards, but I'll probably go back and apply that to my next match, so that way it sticks out even more. I think about a lot of that stuff where it's like, okay, cool, because I know a lot of people like this would be out after I do it. So at IWTV, like I'm gonna know a lot where the production team is at, and then be able to be like, all right, I'm gonna sell this here, we're gonna do this there, and then I want to hit this here. I know how this camera angle is going to sit. So I'll think about the match in the long run of like, hey, this is what we're going to do. And it's going to be a lot of fun.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. I would like to go in the locker room and be like, okay, so what are you guys doing tonight? And I don't want to interrupt you guys, because that's so I can get the best shots to make you guys look good. I can relate to my cameramen, like, all right, they're doing this. Be right there so it looks good.
Yeah.
And
I interrupt me, ask me. I'm going to tell you, I understand the purpose of it.
yep, you sounds like you do, yeah.
Like, yeah. It's like I said, like it goes back to like my friends over in Maryland when they were doing, so it's a J Lee photography, but they would be doing all the action photos.
Hmm.
And I remember a couple of my action photos, it looked like it was just ill place. And I would ask the questions like, yo, why did this happen like this? And what was going on? He's like, oh, well, we never really seen your work before. So we wanted to, try to get the shots the best that we could. And then I was like, oh, that's interesting. And they're like, yeah. So if you tell us afterwards or tell us before you go out for your match,
Hmm.
we're going to know how to hit those spots. And then the next time we see you wrestle wherever, we'll be able to get that easier. And I was like, oh, damn. And so like now, and then I remember at the next show that we did was like, so we did one in Delaware. The shots kind of came out kind of funky, and I felt bad. But then we went to DC, and we worked a couple shows in Maryland, and like the shots came out fire. And I was like, yeah, I understand where you guys are coming from with this. I was like, I'm going to start telling you guys where it's at.
Yeah, you're telling a story when, it's not just actions. It can be words too. When you're talking to the fans, whether it's on the camera or in the crowd, you got to
Yeah,
work with the camera and the crowd all the time. It's
yeah.
just,
Go ahead, go ahead.
it just can be tough though. You're in the match, you're in the moment. You don't know where the camera is, and sometimes I even see my cameraman. He's running to the next shot, and then you guys are gone. You're like, oh, the spot's over.
Yeah.
It's not easy though.
I think that goes back to something else, man. That you kind of hit it on the head. Like, just take your time.
Yeah,
Take your time with your spots. Like, if you're gonna run a spot, like you're gonna run an international, you know how you're gonna want to hit this, right? So, like, obviously left to right, but as long as hard cam's in the front when you hit that initial bump, like it could look so cool with someone standing over the top, just like, yeah, big muscle pose or whatever.
it's like I forget what movie hit on you, Stormy, and then he posed the camera. So yeah,
I think it
exactly.
was just a shoulder bump too. No, it wasn't. It was the body slam. That's what it
Oh, the
was.
body slam.
It
Okay,
was the
yeah,
body slam. Yeah, he hit the body slam on me, and I just laid there. Like, I was like, I'm just not gonna move. Yeah, I want him to hit a pose. I was like, we're gonna take our time. He's like, yeah. And he's just like a monster,
yeah.
and
You
I thought it was great. I was like, yo, that's a fun move. And then like he then he hit the I hit him with a jawbreaker, pushed him and like shoved him into the ropes, and then as I whipped him off, that's when I hit the spine buster from that spot. But it was like I thought about all that kind of stuff where I was like, yo, and even in the intro, right, where like we're hitting the international and I jump over him, like we're hitting side to side, but you can see it from hard cam that we're hitting from side to side. And then when he hits with the shoulder bump and I hit, I was like, all right, just pause for a second. I just want people to understand what just happened. And I was like, yo, and I told him too, I was like, just take your time. Just talk your shit. Like, yeah, I knocked down Red Dog, blah, 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 blah. I was like, just do that.
Yeah, that was good. And comes to my next point. Uh, I remember he hit a spot on you. You powdered out, and he's over there doing push-ups, and then you're over there outside the ring talking to the Roman camera. That's what you got to do. You got to sell yourself. You don't have people doing it for you like the bigger promotions. You got to sell
Right.
yourself.
And even if there is a commentary team, like you could still talk to the camera. Like it's still right there.
It
Because
was
if commentary knows, they're gonna like not say anything as you're saying something, and then they'll proceed to like continue on telling the story.
Yeah, they're more commentators and narrators to the story. You're the actual story yourself.
Right.
The two people.
100% agree. 100% agree.
Yeah, it's, they'll give you a backstory, but you gotta show the backstory where it comes from.
Hmm.
Exactly.
You hear what he said? You hear what he said? He said, "Yo, tell the story. Do do the little things, but tell the story."
Exactly. Little things.
Little things matter. I hear it all the time because that's the one thing. Like even while we're working, I was like, yo, the little things in this match are gonna make the big things that much bigger. And I was like, just do the little things, do the miniature things. It's gonna be fine. Like just even at the start, right? Like um Stevie comes off the top and I hit him with the big ending. I go for the pin. I just get up. I just turn around. Don't even acknowledge him. He's still laying there. I'm just like, where's the mic? Give me the mic.
I remember that.
I was like, yeah. I was like, yo, this is what we're doing. And to your point, right? The first thing I did, I grabbed the mic and I just went right to the main cam. I was like, I'm right to hard cam. I was like,
That's
we're
what you
talking there.
saw.
Yeah. I
That was
want you to feel what I'm feeling. I'm frustrated.
yeah. You're frustrated, or you're happy you got the victory while you did with Steve.
You
Uh,
know,
that was funny. Chad said, "First time in New World Wrestling, you won in the most shortest time." What's that? Your second time?
uh, yeah. Well, officially it would be my second time. Yeah. Unofficially, it would be my third.
Oh, your third time. Yeah.
Yeah, because I had a pre-show match with JP O'Reilly, and then I had the second match with Clipper Jones,
Mhm.
where I got the huge knot on my head. Hi, Clip.
Yeah. I've got those two.
that that's one match. So I've always wanted to see. I haven't seen the JP O'Reilly match yet. I do want to see that one back because I do remember JP and I. We literally. So I don't know if you knew this or not, but I was sitting in the front row of the show, and I kept hearing my name randomly, and I'm like, why are people talking about me? So finally, someone came to me and they're like, "Hey, are you Red Dog?" I was like, "Yes." He's like, "Hey, they need you in the back." So we walked in the curtain. Troop goes, "Do you have your gear?" I was like, "Yep." He's like, "Do you? All right, go get your gear and let's get you in a match." So as I grabbed my gear, I walked to the back. He's like, "You're gonna wrestle JP O'Reilly. He's going over, but you're
Mhm.
gonna be the heel. I need you to call a match and get dressed." I was like, "Okay, cool." So I'm getting ready, and he's like, "And send me your music." So I sent him my music. I got my stuff, got dressed. We were calling the match, and Troop came over and he was like, "All right, remember that match real quick?" And then as I working through the match, he's like, "All right, cool. Hit the play button." I was walking out the curtain.
Oh wow,
Yeah, it was like a matter of maybe like 12 minutes.
12 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, and
Wow.
then the match itself was like probably another 7. But yeah, in the 12 minutes, JP and I just called everything up real quick, and then just boom, I was walking out the curtain, and then he came out.
Was that in Maine?
Yeah, that was the main show.
Oh, so it was. What's his name? He's got the Lego bat. What's his name?
Mm, that's the
We're
thing.
both from the same town.
Oh,
The Misfits or something.
oh yeah.
You do kind of look like him when you come out to the ring.
Yeah.
You don't look. You can tell you two apart.
But yeah, that was a crazy show. And then Clip and I, we had known each other for a while. We've always wanted to work, and so when we got the opportunity to work with each other at NWWE, that was fun. But he thought he was gonna be a heel because he had been booked previously as a heel, and so like I walked in, they're like, "Oh yeah, we want Red Dog as a heel, we want Clip as a face," and then Clip hit me with his dusty elbow and gave me a huge knot. I was like, that was fun.
Yeah, I remember that show in Maine. That was my birthday that day, so
Dang, I wish I would have known. We would watch your beer,
I can't drink on the blood thinners.
soda, water,
Okay,
juice.
I could do that.
Could have shared a candy bar. We could have done something.
Yeah, right. That's okay.
We
I
could
didn't
have shared one Twizzler, you and I just together. Look like Lady and the
I'll
Tramp.
share it. How's that?
It went great with it.
We'll put a candle in that one Twizzler.
Yeah, I'm in with it next time.
Next time.
Listen, I'm going to take this over to my favorite part of the 3 Count podcast, which is the 3 Count podcast 10 count questions. Here's how it works, Rob. I'm going to fire off 10 questions at you rapid fast. And whatever your answer is, that's your answer.
All right.
All right. So I'm going to put on an imaginary timer for add pressure. Bing. And in the words of my favorite commentator, Mike Goldberg, here we go. SmackDown or Raw?
Raw.
Favorite movie?
Toss up between Rocky and Back to the Future.
Both are great movies, though. Marvel or DC?
Either one, mostly DC.
I like it. Favorite cartoon?
Favorite cartoon, Family Guy.
That's a great one.
Yes, it is.
Apple or Android?
Probably an Apple.
Okay. Favorite TV show?
Ancient Aliens. I like that one. Or Married with Children.
You know what's weird is I was just thinking of that show.
Which one?
Married with Children.
Married with Children. That's a good one.
Yeah, I love Al Bundy.
He was the best.
Yeah, it's one of my favorites. I was thinking about the one where I was thinking about the random clip where the little girl was in the shoe store with the mom. It was a bigger girl, and she had like a snooty attitude, and he's like, "Well, I can see where you get your looks from," and then the mom was just pissed. Waffles or pancakes?
Pancakes.
Favorite podcast?
This one.
That's right.
I am first time I'm on this podcast.
Yeah, I like it. Nominate one person that you want to see on this show.
Firestorm.
I like it. And then last but not least, my favorite question to ask every single person who comes on this show: favorite curse word?
The F word. Can I say it?
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck.
That's right, because we don't care. We're never getting monetized, YouTube. We understand, so we're just gonna keep doing what we want to do anyway.
Yep. Exactly.
We'll just get paid by somebody else.
Right.
So, hey, listen, those are all my questions I have for you. So the last thing I need is for you to let our listeners and our viewers know where they can find you.
You can find me on Facebook, Robert Santonastaso. By the way, it was made by the boss herself, the Facebook page, if you know who I'm talking about. She designed it herself originally. And my YouTube channel, too, Robert Santonastaso. You need to spell that Santonastaso. That's my last name. Nice Italian long last name.
I figured that's what it was. It was like, it's definitely Italiano around here.
Italiano, hey, Rayu.
Well, he gave you his handles. He told you where you can find him. He even told you how to look for him on his YouTube channel. So what does that mean? Like every great part of a wrestling match, we gotta take this home, because this is the 3 Count Presents Now Entering, and I'm your host, Clifford Red Dog Miller, the man that leads you up that mountain called wrestling. And like every good Sherpa, it's never about me, it's about who's entering the ring. So who's entering? You see him right there. The man, the myth, the legend, the man of the head production of New World Wrestling Extreme, the man named Rob. And you guys know what to do. Tune in to the next episode and be there, or you're legitimately follow us on all of our social media platforms. You're checking us out on YouTube. You're subscribed to our YouTube channels. You're even checking us out on Spotify. You're listening to us on Amazon Music. You're even checking us out on that dumb app with the stupid jingle that goes iHeartRadio or whatever it is. You're giving us those 5-star Frog Splash reviews off of the Eiffel Tower and on Apple Podcasts. You're also checking out our merch on foryourwear.com or even on prowrestlingtees.com. You're telling your mom about us, your dad about us, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, your best friends, and your enemies, because we love haters too. You're doing all that stuff, or really you're just kind of like waiting for this episode to end. You're waiting for that outro, and then you're choosing another episode to listen to.
Or else he'll give you the spine buster if you don't watch his channel.
Hell yeah. Spine buster for life. Kawaii.
Kawaii.
What's up? It is your friendly neighborhood Red Dog, and thank you for checking out this episode of the 3 Count Podcast. Whether that was Chaz Friends, Red Dog Friends, Damien Friends, The Films Lounge, Now Entering the Ring, Now Entering 201, or Now Returning to the Ring, all those great episodes, you should really be liking, commenting, and even sharing this with your friends, family, whoever it may be. But what you all should be doing is checking us out on all of our social media platforms at 3 Count Pod, whether that's on IG, Twitch, you can check us out on Threads, whatever it may be. And if you go check us out on X, it is 3count_pod. Check us out on YouTube, as well as Facebook, on Rumble, on Apple Music, on Spotify, all those fun things. Tell your mom about us, your dad about us, your aunties, your uncles, your brothers, your sisters, your cousins, and your best friends and your enemies, because we love haters too. Do all that stuff, and then, last but not least, buy our merch on foryourwear.com or prowrestlingtees.com. Kawaii.